Hi, folks. Welcome to the first edition of Coxnotes, where we're going to talk about anything I want to talk about. Mostly, we're going to talk a lot about guns and ammunition and the shooting sports, maybe a little fishing and maybe some politics once in a while. Just have a little fun. I want to invite you to come back here as often as you possibly can and see what's up next. And if you enjoy this first one, I know you're going to enjoy the ones after this. So, welcome to Cox Notes, and let's get started. You know, you can pick up any magazine or any sports magazine, shooting magazine, outdoor magazine today, and you can read all about the AR rifles, everything from how to build them to how to shoot them, everything in between. You can find all the information you want on the latest 1911 model semi-automatic pistols. You can find any information you want on uh, exotic sniper rifles and all kinds of stuff. They've become a very popular thing, and the sales have gone through the roof on a lot of this stuff over the last few years. I think when you get right down to it, the gun dealer's best friend was Barack Obama. You know, the more he uh, led the anti-gunners along, the more gun sales there were. But that's a whole nother ballgame. Excuse me. Uh, at any rate, you read all about this stuff and everything, and you read a lot about three-gun competitions. You see a lot of people out doing competition shooting and great activities. But a lot of the writers and the editors of these missives have they seem to have forgotten that all these shooters, all these people that do the three-gun competition, all these wonderful trap shooters, uh, all the great shots that can pull off fantastic shots, impossible shots. I think one of the TV programs is. All these people were once 7-year-olds and 8-year-olds that had to learn how to shoot. They had to learn how to respect a firearm. They had to learn how, above all, to be safe, keep themselves safe, and keep everybody else safe. I taught the Colorado Hunter Education Program for 40 years, and I found that sometimes it's really hard to build that confidence in the young mind and make them understand the safety, the function, and how to respect a firearm. We have to teach them that firearms aren't just killing devices. They certainly are, and they will kill, and they kill when somebody chooses to use them that way. But they're also very good medium for teaching responsibility and helping young people to understand those responsibilities that they need to have in order to become good hunters, to become good shooters. All too often, I found that the we were getting these young people into the shooting programs and stuff, and we were handing them rifles that were designed to be used by adults. Basically, it was really hard to find a good youth rifle and I found myself buying little less expensive 22 rifles, cutting the stocks off, doing a lot of things to help this young person feel a little bit more confident. And you see them trying to struggle with these rifles, and the rifles are too long, and they're putting them under their shoulder here, and they're trying to look, and we find that we scare them. So I I, well, I was constantly looking for answers to these problems, and not long ago, a couple of years ago, I came up with something that was just in my mind was the ideal situation. And I have one here. This is a Savage. It's called a Rascal. It's a little rifle, and it's designed specifically for those young bodies, those that can't reach so long. This thing is its overall length is only about 31 inches. It's only got the, the distance between the stock here and the trigger, the pull as we call it, is only 11 and a half inches. Um, it's a great little rifle to teach young people with. And so, I bought the first one here, and it's pink, and I found that, these young ladies these young 7-year-olds and 8-year-olds and stuff, they really took to this. They really like to shoot this thing, and it builds their confidence. There's a lot of built-in things. Now, I want to stress that I'm not endorsing any product that you'll see on here. I'm not really endorsing. If somebody decides to pay me to endorse their product and I believe in their product, I'll let you know. But I want to point out some features on this that I think are just what the doctor ordered for teaching a young person to shoot and enjoy shooting. First of all, again, is the size. It's easy to handle. You don't see a lot of waving it around on the range and accidentally pointing it where it shouldn't be pointed, because it's easy to control. It's light. Um, it weighs under 3 pounds. I think 2 pounds 11 ounces is what the manufacturer says. So it's easy for a young person to handle. Uh, it has a bolt that a seasoned shooter would probably find this a little bit awkward to have this bolt handle sticking out here. But what it does is it makes it very obvious where that bolt handle is for the young person to get a hold of it. Another very important feature. Well, let me point out while I'm doing here. It's got a colored base in here for the cartridge feed, so it's easy to see that it's unloaded. If you're supervising some kid with this, it's easy to look over their shoulder and see that the gun's not loaded, that there's not a cartridge in the ramp there. It's a single shot rifle. It's got a nice big thumb safety on it, something that a child's thumb can get up there and feel, and it's got a lot of positive click to it, so they know that it's on or off safe with just a little bit of instruction. It's got a nice sight radius here with a peep sight on it. So it's the full length of the barrel. So you have a 30-inch, close to 30-inch, 29-inch probably sight radius on this thing. So it makes it not only fairly easy to sight, but it makes it fairly accurate. I was surprised at the accuracy of this thing. I just put it on a rest and shot it I'd like also to make sure that the guns that I use in training are shooting rather well, because I want these kids to build up their confidence that way too. I want them to see that they can hit the target. So I sight the things in before I ever let them use it, and it'll be close enough for most of them, and they get to hit the target. And this thing was surprisingly good, shooting a standard velocity 22 ammunition, and it did real well on a 50-foot range, which would be typical. So it's got this nice big bolt, and it's got a good ejector on it. It does a good job with that. Now there's a few things that I don't know why. I don't know why it has sling swivel mounts on it. I can't imagine putting a sling on this little gun. And it's also drilled and tapped for a scope, which seems a little bit much for me, but that's fine. It's the other thing it's got is an adjustable trigger. It's got the Savage adjustable trigger on it. This is really nice I put it up fairly stiff, uh, but you can adjust it to where it's not stiff enough to where it discourages them and encourages a jerking of the trigger. So and they can also feel it as they squeeze it, and you can teach a lot about the squeezing of the trigger. So that's kind of my comments on this little Savage rifle. There are others on the market that are similar to this now. Uh, I haven't tried them. A little anecdotal story is right after I bought this pink one, I had several youngsters on the range in a 4-H program that I was participating in, and there was a young boy there. He just turned 8, I think, and he was a small framed young man. So I gave him this gun to shoot, and he looked down at it, and he kind of wrinkled his nose a little bit. And his dad was quite an avid shooter, and this boy had already been exposed to firearms fairly well. And he kind of looked up at me, and he said, "I ain't shooting a pink gun." So they make it in blue also. So whether you buy the confidence building pink or the boyish blue, it's a good little rifle. Next time we're going to talk about the first rifles you have and some things that we should learn about that. So until then, don't forget uh, Coxnotes. We'll be back on a pretty regular basis now that I learned how to do this stuff. So we'll catch you later. Bye bye.